Hello and welcome to Thav TV, Thav exclusive. I remain your host, Natasha Brown, and welcome to another episode. I have missed having this interview with you, and I know you have missed me too. On this particular episode, we'll be speaking with a lovely lady. She is absolutely exceptional at what she does. She's a content creator and a brand influencer. So if you want your brand to go pop, this is the brand to collaborate with. This is the brand to partner with. And she also won the award for Best Content Creator of the Year here in the city of Port Harcourt 2022. So you see, she's got her CV all full. So just stay tuned with us. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. So, Coxie, the brand.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, nice to really have you here. I mean, I've watched
you.
your videos. I've been seeing you on Instagram for like forever. And I'm like, okay, I'd really love to have this lady on the show. And here you are.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you look so amazing and gentle.
Well, yes, I'm gentle. I mean, a lady should be gentle.
Right? But content creation, like you just have to. Like,
No.
It's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah. Coxie, the content creator, and Boma, the human being, we are two different people.
Right.
So yeah, on Instagram, I'm crazy. I dance. I do all of that. But in person, I'm really, really quiet and calm.
Okay, so back to you, your brand. A lot of things interest me about your brand. And for those of us who don't even know, I mean, your real name is even Boma Wilcox.
Yes.
And I got to ask you behind stage how you got about the whole Coxie brand, how you came about that name.
Well, it's from my surname. My surname is Wilcox, so I kind of carved it out. Actually, it was my big cousin that used to use that name, but she got married and she changed her surname from Wilcox.
So you stole the name?
I took the name immediately.
Right, you saw the potential in that name.
Yeah, exactly.
And something fantastic about you is you've had a lot of transitions from Coxie Logistics, Coxie Thrift Store, now Coxie the brand, content creation and all of that. How's the transition been? In fact, how did you come into all of this? Knowing fully well that your background is in law as well.
Well, I think the need to make money is actually the driving force, the number one driving force, because when I was abroad, I needed money. I needed extra money, so I started by being a personal shopper. That was my first ever business in 2015 or 2016. So I started with personal shopping. It was Coxie's Closet. And then I came back to Nigeria, pound rate increasing, customers reducing. People are telling, oh, I can't afford this shirt, worth 50,000. I'm like, oh, God, what can I do now that would give me money fast? And it was thrift, because you know thrift is affordable. Anybody can afford to buy thrift. And then I started doing thrift and it blew up. While I was doing thrift, I'm like, oh, these logistics guys are making so much money delivering my parcels. Why don't I start the business as well? And then I started doing Coxie's Logistics. So I was working for other brands, but at the same time it was majorly working for my own Coxie's thrift store, delivering parcels and still getting the delivery money. But along the lines, I'm like, is thrifting something I want to do for a long time? You know, people say things like, oh, you're a lawyer. How can a lawyer be selling this? How can a lawyer do? So I'm like, what can I do that is at least reputable and then I like it? So it was content creation, because even as a thrift vendor, brands used to pay me to create content for them, to advertise them. So I was doing it already. I just now had to leave the thrift behind and focus on the content creation. So that's really how I got here.
Yeah. And something interesting about you that is also quite similar with a number of youths, you know, especially Nigerian youths. You know how our parents would always want us to follow the generic path. So it's either you're doing the doctoring thing or you're being an engineer or something. And it was frowned upon when you indicated that you wanted to be an actor.
Actually, growing up, I would cast everybody in my house. We would make movies. I would edit it on my computer, put everything like a proper real movie. I used to do all of that. But when I tell my dad, oh, Daddy, this is actually what I want to do. Can I study? Can I at least do theater arts when I'm in uni? He'd be like, look at what all these girls are doing on TV. Look at this one, she's smoking. Look at this one. Do you want to do all of that on TV? It's not noble. Why not do law? So along the lines, I'm like, okay, I can be a lawyer, I can help people that need my help and all of that. But I don't know, somehow, but I think this generation is changing. Parents these days are becoming more understanding, especially when you're bringing the money back home and they're seeing the results. Like from content creation, you're making all this money, you can afford to give your parents a nice lifestyle. You can
and now parents are able to say, oh, my daughter is a content creator.
Yeah, but now my dad will say, I don't really know what you do, but I know it's online, I know it's media, but he doesn't really understand the concept of brand influencing and content
But he
creation.
knows at least his daughter is not doing any Yahoo or illegitimate thing.
Exactly.
He's not going to see her online being, raided by AFCC. So.
Exactly. So yeah, it works.
Okay, so that is quite interesting. Now, Coxie the brand, how would you describe your brand?
I would say, well, I'm different. As a creator, I think my passion shows that I really like what I do. And you can kind of see that passion in the work, in the content that I create. Creating content for brands is not like a job to me because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy making these videos, editing these videos, talking in front of the camera. I love all of that stuff, and I think that's who Coxie the brand is, a creator that is really, really passionate about what she does. If you pay me to be your brand influencer, the way I carry your brand on my head, oh my goodness. Sometimes people think I'm the owner of the brands I advertise because of how serious it is to me.
And how personal you take them.
Yes, and how personal I take them. So I think Coxie the brand is just an amazing content creator who's passionate, very passionate about what she does.
And something else that, stands you out, you're a Port Harcourt brand as well, you know, going global, national and all of that. But it's beautiful to see that we are well represented there. It's a lovely thing that you do, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank
you. So, but I will go right into this question. So, there are a lot of content creators out there. Almost everybody you meet, especially young people. So, what do you do? I'm a content creator, okay. And there is that bias. So people just look at you and be like, okay, I'm not a jobless dude, just talking something. But people are actually cashing in out of this profession.
Yes.
So would you say that this is a sustainable career path?
Well,
because we see young people from the high school, secondary schools, universities, undergraduates, they just want to come out and I'm a YouTuber. So, but is it a sustainable career path?
Sustainable, it depends on how we define that word sustainable right now, because sustainable could mean 20 years later, I'm still a content creator, but I could have other things I'm doing. I don't think anybody should depend solely on
content creation
as your major source of income, because you never can tell. There are other creators coming up. There are different things happening. The world is changing, and you're going to definitely get older. So it gets to a point where people want younger creators.
Something fresh, something new, vibrant.
To represent their brand. So even as a creator right now, you have to spread your wings and see what other things you can use to cash out and depend on, not only on content creation. So to answer your question, I wouldn't say it's exactly sustainable.
So you would not, if a young person were to come up to you now, say 18 years old, 17 years old, and say to you, Coxie, I want to be a content creator and that's all I want to do with my life. Your advice would be, okay, you want to soft pedal a bit.
I would say please go to school first and get your degree, get your certificate, so you have something to kind of fall back on. I don't think you should just
pack your bags and say, I'm done going to school.
No.
I'm going to buy an iPhone and that's it.
No, definitely not. Because, people are going to school. People have businesses, but they are still creators. You should still get your life in order and still work on being a creator. At the end of the day, if you're a creator who has a degree, who has a certificate,
it makes you stand out in a different type of way.
it makes you stand out, because some people, when they come to me, they're like, oh, I think you're smart because you're a lawyer. I think you're this because you're a lawyer.
So that plays a huge role in influencing them.
Yeah, and in
the
kind of jobs that you get as well. Yes, because I try to put myself out there as a leader in my field. I teach a lot as well. I teach a lot of brands. I teach a lot of people. I like to put myself out there as someone who knows what she's doing. So you need all of that background information to make up the big picture. So don't just come out and say you want to be a content creator. Study other creators, learn how to properly manage, because you can be a creator and you can be getting paid and you're still not having any money at all. So if you don't know how to do business properly, and it gets to a point where so many brands are calling you at the same time, you've collected money from so many brands, but you cannot now deliver, it becomes a problem. So that's
where you now have all those drags on social media and the trolling.
Yes.
Pay me my money. I paid you to advertise.
Exactly.
Right.
And now you're not posting it. You're not doing, because those people have probably collected money here. So as a content creator, even if you're a creator, you should actually know what you're doing. Plan, invest, save. And I mean, but don't just come out and just say, oh, I want to be a creator. Oh, I'm a creator now, because that might not get you like very far. So just get your life in order, and then why not?
So it brings me to this question. So, you know, basically every time we scroll through our phones and we just see a skit, we see this from Toma, we see that from Brain Jota. I think one of the newest people that I like, I don't know, is it Lai? Lai? I think that's his name or something.
Wasabi?
I don't know. I think he's Lai. He's tall. He does some weird stuff. But it's interesting, right? So, but is it an easy thing to do? Because people, like I tell you, I cannot count the number of teenagers I've met that are like, oh, I want to be a content YouTuber. So it feels like, okay, is this just an easy peasy kind of job? Or just take us through the creating process, like behind the scenes of a content creator.
Okay, so behind the scenes of a content creator, you have days where you have to shoot. First of all, let's say a brand pays you to advertise or create content for them. You first have to think of the idea to suit that brand, because no two brands are the same. No two adverts should be the same. When a brand pays you, you have to think, okay, what's the best possible way to showcase this brand to the world? Do I have to go to the location? Do I have to show myself using their services? Do I do a voiceover? Do I put myself in the video? Is it better without me in it? All those are things that you have to first think about. So when you know the best way, you now have an idea of what you want to do, then you now plan to shoot. When you go to shoot, just like we're doing now, you make your videos. After that, you have the editing process, which for me, it's fun, but it can also be like a pain. So you have to edit, you have to do all of that stuff. And imagine doing this for different brands every single day. Some days, 3 or 4 brands in a day. It can get really exhausting. It looks really easy online, and it looks fun, because, I mean, it looks like...
all fleeting and amazing and glitz and glam.
Exactly. But behind the scenes, you know, there are days where you cry. There are days where, let's say, you're done shooting, you lose everything, or the audio wasn't working, or something just goes wrong, and you're like, oh my goodness, so everything I've done today just
gone.
There are some days too that you want to work, but you're not feeling yourself.
Your mental state is not just there.
Exactly.
You're not feeling your creativity come alive.
Yeah, you're making lots of mistakes. You have to do so many takes. I mean, it just gets really crazy. But if you love doing it, then it's easier. It's a little bit easier. Yeah.
So it's something I've heard you consistently say is you love what you do, you like what to do, you enjoy doing it. So would you say that that is a consistent criteria for being successful at anything you want to do? You have to love it, you have to like it, you have to enjoy it.
Well, for me, yes, because I mean, if I'm not happy doing anything, then I don't want to do it. But people are different. Other people can learn to like it. Some people can just say, well, I don't really like it, but it's what I have to do. So
it's putting food on my table.
Yeah, so I'm going to do it. So it really depends. For me, I really like it. I really enjoy it. I really love it. So basically, if you like what you do and you enjoy it, then it gets really easy. For me, I think that plays like a really big part in my content creation, but it's not an easy process. Some people can't even create content for their brands alone. Imagine doing this for multiple brands constantly. You constantly have to be able to think and create something.
You know, just merely listening to you right now, I think is a full-time job.
It's actually a full-time job.
Thinking, shooting, ideating, editing, and all of that. It's a lot of work. You know, it's not just what we see. There is a lot of mental work that goes in there, and also hard skills, because you have to be good at video editing and all of that. I think that's interesting. I think that's one of the reasons I could not really get into this. It seems like it's a lot. But anyway, I hope that you're enjoying the conversation so far and learning a thing or two. Do stay tuned. Cox the brand is still here, and we'll be right back after the short break.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Thav Media give life to your dreams. Thav Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. All right, so we've got into the whole glitz and creative process of content creation and the love of it, the laughter that comes with it. But I know that as a content creator, you also have challenges. There are challenges in that whole sector, that whole industry here in Nigeria. So kindly enlighten us, as to what challenges you have faced so far.
I think the first major challenge will be people thinking it's not a proper job. Like you said, when someone says,
Right.
oh, I'm a content, you just think,
A jobless you.
Yeah, you're jobless. So people should see that content creation is actually a full-time job.
It's a
Today I
full-time
have
job.
5 different engagements, and most of them are content creation, guest appearances, which is as a result of content creation. So it's a full-time thing. Sometimes you have to create for the whole day. Sometimes you're working a lot. But people don't really see that. People just see you make videos and share online. They don't understand the concept behind it. So the first challenge will be people not taking me seriously because they feel that, it's just content, it's just branding. Some guy has told me, I hate brand influencers. He did not have a legitimate reason when I asked him, but he just had this thing. He just said, I don't like brand influencers. I hate those people. So that's the first thing, not being valued enough and thinking what you're doing is not just as important as other jobs.
Careers,
yes.
yeah.
Secondly, I would say a lot of creators are underpaid. That's a big, it also comes from people not thinking what you do is important.
It's valuable,
yes, valuable. So they want to underpay you, they want to underprice you. Even when they pay you like a huge amount, they want to make sure you
work for that money.
Yes, you work really hard for that money. It's not like I don't want to compare with other places, but I mean, abroad, the situation is a bit, would I say, it's better.
Because it's accepted, it's recognized as a job. Brand influencing is actually a full-time career job.
Exactly. There are brands on LinkedIn looking for influencers, hiring influencers every day. But I don't think it's that serious here yet. Thirdly, a lot of us, I think the economy plays another huge part because, you get paid a certain amount to make a video, but you spend a whole lot making sure that that video comes out right. I would say creators abroad are lucky because, they have a stable economy. They can afford to hire editors, hire people to think for them, hire creative minds. But here, we don't have that luxury. You have to do everything by yourself. Think, shoot, edit, everything you have to do by yourself. It's not like where I can just say, okay, I have a team of, let's say, 5 people. I'm like, this brand, this brand just paid. What do we do? Now I'm doing it all by myself. So it's a little challenging. It's a little hard. But I know eventually we'll get there. If you keep putting in the work, you keep improving yourself, you eventually get there.
Absolutely. If you keep putting in the work and being consistent on what you do and constantly improving as well, like you rightly said, you will get the needed recognition. All right. So with that said, how would you describe the creative space in Nigeria, the using content creation as a niche and brand influencing? How would you describe that space so far in Nigeria? Do you think it's a burgeoning industry? It's opening up to accepting more people. It's beginning to have some recognition and some value to it, and people are beginning to earn to some extent what is commensurate to that work. How would you describe it so far?
I would say so far, thanks to
we still have a lot of work.
We definitely do have a lot of work to do, but so far as Nigerians, with everything we face, I think we're doing a really, really good job. Sabinus won an award recently, and it wasn't a Nigerian thing. I think it was an African award. So it was not just Nigeria, it was Nigeria and other countries, and he was able to come out on top. That says a lot. That means we're actually going places.
We're doing something right.
Yeah, we're definitely doing something right. These guys have millions of followers online. They get paid millions of money to just be ambassadors for brands. So they're making it, and I'm really proud of them. I know I'm going to get there someday, hopefully very soon. But I would say the creative space in Nigeria, at the moment, it's amazing. I see influencers, I see creators working with each other, collaborating with each other. If a brand says, oh, I need 10 creators now, can you provide them for me? I see people doing that, calling their people, oh, come and get on this job, get on this offer. It's actually, for me, I think it's actually amazing. I only have an issue with Port Harcourt. I feel as a Port Harcourt creator, this space can be better. We can be cashing out more than we are right now as a page creator. But generally, Nigeria, we're doing amazing.
Well, so I remember that one of the challenges you talked about is, people devaluing the whole content creation and brand influencing space. And primarily one of the impacts that will have is on pricing, right? Where people, you give them your rate and they're wondering, why should I pay you this much, So how do you go about that?
Well, in some situations, I compromise. But for me to compromise, it would mean that I should be able to also gain something from working for you, excuse me. So if a really big brand approached me, for example, and I feel like, oh, if I actually work for this brand and I put this on my portfolio, it will actually go a long way. In that situation, I might be able to compromise. But that doesn't go for everybody. So I'll just assess your brand, and if I see that in the long run it's going to be good for me as a brand as well, because I'm also a brand, not just the other brand. So if it's going to be good for me, then I might compromise. But there are some situations where I'm like, I'm sorry, if you can't afford it, no problem.
Because there's a part where, there's hunger in the land, right? So a lot of people are hungry, so people will just take whatever you want to give to them. Just pay me some money, let me get this done. So,
well, if you keep acting like
charging
that,
low.
charging low, you're just going to remain at the bottom, while other people are going to
climbing higher.
Are going to keep climbing, because people are going to always bring the rejected jobs to your table. So even when people see you, that means you're also going to be working for anybody that comes your way, which is not what content creation should be. You should be able to select the kind of brand you work for and know the kind of what you're trying to achieve as a creator as well.
So something else I know that I've come to hear, mostly bringing it home to Port Harcourt, is about the lack of collaboration as well amongst content creators. So that seems to stifle that particular sector. What do you have to say about that?
When I started influencing last year, I really used to hammer on collaborations a lot, because I saw how quickly Lagos influencers were growing, because they were always doing things together. You have 100,000 followers, I have 100,000 followers. Why don't we do something together, and then our followers get to see each other? But I don't know if in Port Harcourt I would say they don't know how to collaborate, or it's a competition thing. I don't know what the angle is. I don't know where they're coming from. But last year it was bad. However, this year I've noticed
it's
that
been quite different.
Yes, it's been quite different.
Collaborations are happening.
Lots of collaborations are happening right now in Port Harcourt amongst brands, because people are now beginning to see the importance. Like, okay, it makes me grow faster if I actually work with other people. Nobody's an island. So
that's interesting. I think that's the way forward, collaborations. Because you might think that you've hit it, but you don't know which other collaboration can just, tip you over and just give you that big break. So that's an interesting thing, to note. So this will bring me to this question. Now, we've talked about the challenges, but we know that there is a part the government has to play. There's a part the private sector also has to play to be able to support this particular, the creative space, the creative sector. So what would you say that they can do, to be able to help further support the creative space?
In River State?
River State, Nigeria.
I'm going to start from River State, because this is where I live and it affects me directly, whatever goes on here. I think that we should have our movie industry here in River State. I feel like we should have a creative space. I'm just an individual. I can't set up something that how many creators can use, but the government can afford to
do that.
To make some sort of creative space, kind of like this, something bigger where we pay subsidized rates. If you need somewhere to create content, if you need a place, some of us can't afford cameras, we can't afford all this luxury. But if there's a space where maybe you go, you pay little, you use the space, you do what you want to do, it's going to help us a lot. Secondly, I think talent shows, talent hunts, we have a lot of talent in River State that so many people don't know about. Some of all these people that have made it big today is because someone discovered them somewhere. But if nobody is searching for these people, how then do you find them?
How can they be found?
Yeah, how can they be found? So talent shows that help the government see these people, and then maybe the winner of the show, you encourage them with something, an
Set them
endorsement
up.
deal, set them up. It could be anything, but they need to try because we're doing it all by ourselves. It's not easy.
Right.
This is what I would advise.
That's for River State and Nigeria at large?
Nigeria at large.
Because I know that so far, I think, just kudos to the Lagos State government. I think those people support the creative sector so well. I don't know why they took it personal. I don't know if the creative industry had to actually push or lobby for such. But we see that every time the Lagos State government, in fact, he gets to invite these creators from time to time. So you see that there's that recognition. Well done.
Yeah.
You know, so it's encouraging. You might not even give them monetary incentives, but that whole thing that you recognize us, you recognize our art.
Yeah.
It puts some value on that industry. You understand?
Exactly. But you can't say the same for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think definitely we've come into a new government. So hopefully he would actually see that as not just something that is fleeting, as an actual concrete industry. Why do I say the viability in this industry is because one thing River State is lacking is tourism.
True.
We have a lot of beautiful areas,
True.
you know, but we are not showcasing it.
True.
How can you showcase it when you don't engage these content creators to be able to travel? For example, you talked about a vision that you have, Coxie Travel.
Yeah.
I coined that name. I coined that name. You know, but just imagine if the government had set up or sets up that avenue or gives you a kind of grant or loan and you're able to go into certain areas that are really, really beautiful. River State is mostly known for insecurity and all of that. But if these accesses are there, I mean, the narrative is different.
Which is why it looks like Lagos has all of the places, everything nice. Because, I mean, these creators, they're encouraged to do more. They're showing us the beautiful parts of their states. I mean, I'm from Bonny. Bonny is somewhere where I'd like to go. And I went there a few months ago to sort of show my followers what it looks like. And a lot of people were surprised. They were like, you mean this place is in River State? Like, are you serious?
Right.
We have... But that's to show that we're not doing enough. The government really needs to encourage us. Please,
please. Okay, so we'll be wrapping this up really soon. So, what would you say the future of Coxie brand is in the next, say, 3 years? Where do we see the Coxie brand?
Well, for me, I think that anything can happen. That's one thing I always believe. I never know where I'm going to be, not even tomorrow, not even in a month's time.
I like that.
But what I do know for sure is that I want to be in this creative space for a really long time, or at least that's how I feel right now. So I plan to have a talk show. So hopefully I do my talk shows, I start my YouTube series, probably do podcasts and interviews like you guys do. I just want to do all of that stuff. Acting, anything that has to do with cameras, anything where I can be creative and just do what I like. Yeah. Basically.
Really interesting. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So last question. I mean, for content creators out there, what three top tips can you give to them to make them outstanding, different from the pool? Because there are a lot of talented content creators. I mean, every day my phone is buzzing. But what top 3 tips can you give to them if they actually want to be a standout brand?
Be yourself. You have your own, number one, be yourself. You have your personality, which is not like anyone else's. A lot of people have become popular because they started something unique, something that nobody else had done before. That's what makes them unique in their own way. So I think as a creator, as an influencer, your personality, for me, it's one of the most important things, because if people can connect with you as a person, you share the same struggles, you share the same challenges, you also show them that your life is not perfect. Because sometimes these creators and influencers make it look like it's just a bed of roses. But when you make them see that, look, this thing you're passing through, you're not alone. Even me, that you think I have it all figured out, I really don't. I'm also a mess behind the scenes. So be yourself. If people like you, they are going to connect with you for who you are. Number 2 is to keep growing, keep learning, keep improving your skills and your craft. because you can't be doing things the same way over and over. And even the people watching are going to get tired. So you need to learn to switch up your game. You need to learn to improve as time goes on. Number 3, I would say do not let anybody underprice or underpay you. If they want to go somewhere else, it's fine.
Own your price with your chest.
Yes, it's okay. If they want to take that money elsewhere, they can take it elsewhere. I've had brands who have come to me. When I give them my rate cards, they're like, no, it's too high. They go elsewhere. And then they come back later. And then you still pay the amount, but now you've paid double because you went, you paid somebody, now you're back here and you're still going to pay. So don't let them underprice you. I'm sorry. I know that we all need money, but still your values are really, 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 really important. Yeah.
Really interesting. Your values are really, really important. You have to value your work
and
put the commensurate money to it. And if they're not willing to pay, you keep it moving.
Exactly.
Except, like you rightly said, except the value far outweighs the money,
then you can compromise. Yes, then you can compromise.
Thank you so much, Cox, to the brand.
Thank you for having me.
And I wish you the best. And I really do hope for the best here in Nigeria for our creative space. I want Nigeria to take all over the world. I mean, we're already doing that with our dances, our food,
our music.
We are doing massively well. I really do hope that the new government, especially our President Tinubu, I hope that he really looks into the whole entertainment space and the creative space, because it's a big industry to cash in on and that can really actively grow the GDP.
Exactly.
I mean, look at Funke Akindele's movie Battle on Booker Street, highest grossing. Was it for last year? It went up to 694 million naira or thereabout.
Wow.
That's close to $1 billion. We are getting to $1 billion per movie, right? So I mean, I loved seeing all of that, and there's a big future ahead of us, and the government really needs to see the future and cash in on it.
Exactly.
You know, for the sake of our global economy. So at the end of the day, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And our viewers out there, I hope that you've learned a thing or two. You have been informed, you have been enlightened, you have been entertained as well. And remember, this is Thav exclusive. I remain your host, Natasha Brown. Bye for now.